let's chat, shall we? Hello, it's Icy. Yes, I am back with more life updates. I know that says September, and I am aware that it is now October. It has been one of those months. It really, really has. I mean, I kind of wanted to record this video earlier, but it just didn't happen. There has been a lot of stuff going on, just from a really personal point of view for this one. So as if you watch the previous ones, you'll know this is a bit of a visual diary where I am letting myself in the future know, and you guys of course, what happened. There's kookaburras outside laughing loudly right now. I don't think it's coming through on the mic, but it's really loud. Anyway, letting myself, my future self, and you know what's been going on in my world for the last month. So it's been really busy. There's been a lot of stuff. From the COVID situation, now that we're getting the kookaburras are not interrupting me, it's kind of okay. It's not perfect, it's not great, nothing is fixed. But from the Australian point of view, we, especially the New South Wales point of view, we're just skating along right now. In New South Wales, there have been no community transmissions from unknown sources for the last while. In fact, no community transmissions at all, I think, for the last couple of days. Melbourne and Victoria are doing so well. They're doing it really tough compared to the rest of Australia, and they are probably coming out of their quarantine, I think probably after the school holidays. Queensland has opened its borders to the New South Wales sort of areas just to the south of the border, which is actually great because that's where my parents live. So that means my parents can visit my sister and her family who actually live in Queensland, and vice versa. So that's fantastic. So still working at home, still wearing masks when going out. Kids still at school, not wearing masks except on public transport. So yeah, we're just keeping on. However, I don't know, I think about a month ago now, I think it's a month. I don't know. I've completely lost track of how the weeks works. Miss Icy started vomiting late on Thursday night, sort of early Friday morning, like 2 a.m. kind of thing. And then she was vomiting every hour. Every 2 hours? Every hour. She vomited like 7 times, I think, before 9 a.m. Now, if you have watched previous videos or you've been around for a while, you'll know she has type 1 diabetes. So uncontrolled vomiting is actually really very dangerous if you have basically you need to eat food to keep your blood sugars up. If your blood sugars drop too low, you can actually go unconscious. So if you can't keep anything down, then you can't absorb the sugars from what you're eating. So it's actually a really dangerous situation. Now I went, oh my god, well, it's not food poisoning because nobody else was vomiting, and food poisoning happens like, 4 hours after you've last eaten something, and it was 2 a.m. So it wasn't food poisoning basically. And I'm going, well, I don't know what it is. And also one of the symptoms of COVID in children is gastrointestinal issues. So she had stopped vomiting but looked terrible. So I called the doctor, who we're doing telehealth appointments at the moment. They didn't call back at the expected time. So it was like, right, everybody in the car, we're off to go get a COVID test. Now for me, that's very easy. And I know it's not that case in other places in the world, and I am really, it's not even quite that easy in different places in Australia actually, apparently. And I'm very sad that is the case, and it's not fair. So there is a drive-in clinic like 5 minutes from us, maybe 10, probably 10 minutes, like just at one of the local shopping centres. Like literally, you drive in, you show your Medicare card if you have one. If you don't have one, that's fine. You don't need to have one. You fill in your details. They get your mobile phone and email address so they can contact you with the results. You do a swab, one up the nose, one down the back of the throat. It was weird. The one down the back of the throat, and the one up, they made me laugh uncontrollably. It was so strange. Like, not an instinctive, I mean, the one down the throat was a bit of a gag, but the one in the nose, it actually made me giggle uncontrollably. It was so weird. Anyway, did all the kids. The kids just needed a back of the throat one, so that was good for them. And then while we're in the line for the test, the doctor calls back, and not the usual doctor, but I have seen that particular one before, and he's very nice. Has a good bedside manner, but is also very concerned about stuff in general. Explained the symptoms, and he sort of said, yeah, you should take her to emergency. That was my kid, I'd take them straight away. And I'm like, oh god. So when we get back home, we wait for a little while, and I check Miss Icy's ketone levels again. So ketone levels in the blood basically tell your body how well your kidneys are processing liquid, and they had gone up. So she had high blood sugars despite not having eaten anything, so implying her body is fighting something. She had high ketones. So at that point I was like, all right, we're going to the hospital. So we spent, I don't know, the hospital that we go to, the emergency ward, it's about, I guess, about half an hour away, so not too far. And they're very good with kids. They have a separate sort of system to get the kids straight through. You don't have to wait in the waiting room, so you get assessed and you go through really quickly, and they have a specialized team who check children, which is fantastic. So then we go through, and we're sitting there for a while. We do blood tests, we do checkups, we do urine testing, we do the whole thing, and eventually they're not sure, but eventually it's like, well, it could be your appendix. And it's like, oh good. And they're kind of saying, you know, she wasn't really feeling much pain, not at all particularly, so they wanted to keep her in the hospital overnight. And me, obviously, I'm not leaving her there, she's 12. And the main reason was because people who have type 1, apparently appendicitis, can demonstrate differently, and also it can go very bad very quickly without the normal signs. So where somebody else, they might dose you up with antibiotics and send you home, for Miss Icy it was basically hospital overnight. So that was fun. Including basically explaining to nurses how insulin worked. I know it's not their forte, but also it was quite a thing. It was a thing. It was quite a bit of a negotiation. It's very hard to be professional and unemotional at like 2 a.m. in the morning, where you're trying to explain to the nurse the high blood sugar really does need to be corrected. And that also dangerous high blood sugars might mean that surgeons choose not to operate. Anyway, the next morning, conveniently, because I would have had to call her, Miss Icy's pediatric endocrinologist, so her specialist, was actually in the hospital and came in to say hello. So we were sorted after that, where she basically went to them. She knows what she's talking about, just listen. So all then afterwards was great. So she got operated on about midday, and yes, her appendix was inflamed, not to the extent where it would have it was medium inflammation, we were told. And then in hospital again for the next night, and then we went home on Sunday, and we were home in the middle of the afternoon sometime, I think. It was fine, actually, at the hospital, fine. It was no problem. That was okay. I mean, I cope quite well in emergency situations. My brain just locks on and does the thing, and it's organized, and I can talk to people, and I'm a great medical advocate. Once we got home, Miss Icy was... God. She's a very independent person. Has not ever had to deal with much of a medical restrictions on her before. Like, I try to make it so her diabetes does not impact her life. And all of a sudden it's like, no, you can't climb up into your bed, which is like a high bed. You'll need to sleep in the spare bed in the guest room, well, the playroom where visitors stay. because it will hurt your wound to climb up there. I mean, she couldn't even stand up straight. She gets a chair and she climbs up on a tall stool, in fact, climbs up on the tall stool so she can climb into bed. And then says, "Oh, look at me." It's like, oh my god, that next week was imposing restrictions on her. Was, honest to God, the absolute worst. It was pure just. Anyway, that's why I'm recording this video now, because there's nobody in the house but me, so I can whinge to you very thoroughly. Maybe when she's 18 she can watch this video and remember and go, oh yeah, maybe I should have just listened. Anyway, here's hoping. So yeah, so we had that whole week off school. That was not fun. The hospital was, honestly, it was better. And then back at school, but she couldn't take her school bag. She had to take a different bag with limited books, and that was a whole other thing. So we were picking her up. And then there was one more week of school, and now it's the school holidays. So 2 weeks off for the school holidays, and then she's got like, I think 2 weeks when she's back at school again, and then she'll be able to resume sport and all of that sort of stuff. So she's doing okay now, but for those couple of weeks there, having to cope with the restrictions was terrible. Really was not. She was not happy. So yeah, that's been the personal stuff for the last while. On the streaming front, you may have noticed, look at this, I have a new microphone. I decided to use the money that I've received from very generous people, thank you very much, on spending and improving the stream. And one of the big things is, I think, the mic. I mean, the camera's not great, but that's a different whole huge story, and I'm not, for that matter, often in the big screen, so the camera not being great is not the end of the world. Mic sounds great. It's a dynamic mic, which means it's not meant to pick up the extra sounds around the house. Does it work that way? Kind of, sort of, maybe. But if you come over and check out my stream at twitch.tv/ICYIC, you'll see I've put a bunch of work as well into a whole new set of overlays, or actually more tweaking the appearance of the existing overlays so it's cleaner and fresher and brighter. It's more subtle. It's great. I'm really happy with how it's all come together. Does a bunch of clever moving type things. It looks really good. And so the last couple of weeks I've also been looking at a bunch of other things to improve my stream, improve my internet presence, I guess. Just a whole heap of things, and it's been feeling really great. I feel good about the changes that I've kind of got planned, the ideas of where I want to go, the things I want to do. Yeah, I'm really pleased and a bit excited. So keep an eye out. There will be more content on this channel. I would expect I should be able to do something each week. Not one of these videos, just something to do with the Elder Scrolls Online, more than likely. But yeah, do look out for new content each week now. And yeah, lots of good things happening. Lots of good things coming. For a while there, it was like, I felt a bit out of control. I think like many people did in the world, and not the child issues, just I felt quite purposeless, I think, because PAX would normally be coming up and I'd be going to PAX, and that would be super exciting, and I'd be doing a bunch of stuff for that, and that wasn't. And also work has not been particularly satisfying either, so there wasn't, you know, I didn't feel like I was achieving things. And now I feel like I'm making a difference to something that I control. So I feel like I'm making a difference, improving things that I control specifically, and it's good. It's really good. Yeah, excited. I'm quite excited. So yeah, come over and see me at twitch.tv/ICYIC. twitch.tv/ICYIC. Yeah, where I stream Elder Scrolls Online 4 days a week. I'd love to see you there. Come chat, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.